When the boot hits the face and the satisfying pop that follows. This is the next installment in my series of wildly inefficient loot farms. 24 hours in the Stony Tombs on Players 8. Join me as I practice some delayed gratification and later enjoy huge hits of brain chemicals. The ruthless desert didn't care about my plans, but it did reward my persistence. In many ways, this magic find loop became a ritual, a sort of meditative repetition with the comforting press of familiar buttons, where every dry run and streak can be turned to something good, because they are now out of the way and you are one step closer to that next big hit. My barbarian recently ran Travancore 1,000 times, and this assassin is spoiled. At the end of this experiment, I will use that Vex rune to roll a rune word I have never previously rolled, and it would become a great addition to this fire-based kicksin. That Vex rune actually dropped from the first hour of running this experiment, but I had the luxury of waiting to roll the rune word, due to the fact that she got a head start in life thanks to my barbarian. And even though this is a fresh character, she could start Players 8 right away. Oh, I almost forgot. Also due to the fact that this happened during my playthrough. I couldn't believe my luck. Probably my favorite item in the whole game, the green hat. The reason this Shaco hit so hard was twofold. For one, I didn't have one on single player. And also, in 1,000 runs of Travancore, my barbarian desperately wanted one, but he would, spoiler alert, never get one. And you would think that after setting my assassin up so well with items, runes and whatnot, he would get the Shaco in return. But nope, he would have to wait. Because our 24 hours in the Stony Tomb was just about to start. This is a Dragon Tail assassin. She builds combo points with Tiger Strike to spend them with Dragon Tail. A hard-hitting skill that dishes out fire damage, but the calculation is based on physical damage as well, which is why she's using the rune word Lawbringer. This rune word gives you a chance to cast Decrepify, which slows the targets and reduces enemy physical resistance. And it can actually break physical immunities as well. And on top of that, the Sanctuary aura nullifies undead physical resistance. Another important piece in our damage calculations are our boots. These War Travelers are upgraded to mirrored boots. While this isn't the highest damage boots you can get, that would probably be a Myrmidon base, it's an easy way to get high damage and some magic find. What makes this assassin so fun to play is that you can build combo points, and more often than not you will trigger a Decrepify, and then you're all set to blow up a pack with a hard kick. Just like this. And what made me even more impressed is that she could do this on Players 8 with the gear I've shown here. I will concede the Stony Tomb is probably the quote-unquote easiest place to do this, but still, it is a level 85 area that can drop every unique and set item, as well as high runes. I'm eager to show you what I found in the tombs in 24 hours, but first I must mention, you just saw my assassin trigger Firestorm from a Hellfire Torch. That is a subtle hint to this assassin's extracurricular activities between magic finding sessions. The good news is, she just needed a wardrobe change, she didn't even have to respec. Although, I will admit, I had put 20 points into Dragon Talon. If you'd like to see her tackle the Uber bosses, let me know in the comments below. and I'll see if I can make a video about that too. The first hour in the tomb treated me good. The green helmet on the floor was actually a part of my wardrobe change to beat the Ubers. While it's not a super rare item, I'm always happy to find this one. It's a G-face. Within that same first hour, I find quite a rare item. It's a unique cryptic axe, and I almost missed it. It's a Tomb Reaver. Best case scenario, this would have been 3 open sockets and ethereal, but hey, you can't get everything and it's still a pretty fun drop. The last notable drop of the first hour is a high rune, and I took this as a sign. I was gonna be swimming in runes by the end of this. It is a Vex rune. Little did I know, swimming in high runes was not in the cards for me, but I would find other cool stuff, like these Titans from Hour 3, as well as Alder's chest, and another set chest, quite a rare one, at least I don't find many of these. It's Sasabi's chest. Hour 3 would also be topped off by a rune. While it's not a high rune, I still love finding these. My barbarian still wants that 6-isted crystal sword, so this could be a good way to pay him back. An hour later, I pop some sarcophagi and I find a pair of Barteks. A bit low on the enhanced damage, but this item is just packed with good stats. Within that same hour, I would open a tomb door only to get greeted by a pack of undeads, but one of them was carrying a ring. It is a Ravenfrost, and quite a good roll at that. 5 hours in, the winds changed, and I could feel the shifting sands below my feet as the mood became more ominous. The sands were now terrorized. Would this be a curse, or maybe a blessing in disguise? During this hour, I would find 3 notable drops, one of which I have only ever found once before. Let's take a closer look. First, a pair of 37 chance cards, and now a unique Aegis. It's Medusa's Gaze. An interesting shield I've only ever found once before. The last notable drop from this Terrorized hour would be a Gull rune. For an assassin, Terrorized Stony Tomb is perfect. Tight corridors and close quarters chaos. Dragon Tail feels like lighting a match in a gas leak. Everything just ignites. However, come across Stone Skin and Fire Enchanted, it feels more like lighting a match in a snowstorm. It's now hour 6, and the tomb is no longer terrorized. But our luck has not yet run out, because this is the Hydra bow from the intro. And I almost fell off my chair when I saw the enhanced damage has rolled perfectly. Although we're 1% off on the mana leech, it is a nice find. The next hour brought me one step closer in repaying my barbarian with a unique Slayer guard. It's Ariat's face. And just 2 runs later, I was peacefully making my way towards the tomb, and a unique ring drops. It's a second Ravenfrost. Up until this point, the sands had provided. I had chosen Player's 8 for the increased XP gain and chance to find runes. I had a bunch of loot to show for it, and several character levels, and it felt like the next new was just a run away. I went through a wild wish list in my head. Dual mosaics with 3 to Dragontail claws, or maybe Phoenix runeword in a Monarch, Gore Riders, Enigma in an Arkham plate. And just as I was busy counting my metaphorical chickens pre-hatch, probability would punish me, and my luck would turn. The dopamine seesaw was in full effect. The pleasure side had been weighted down for too long, and these next 6 hours would be the inevitable harsh pushback into pain. 2 dirty digglers would test my conviction and my patience before finally something of note would drop. A unique russet armor, its Skulder's ire. Still too scarred to dare to hope, I kept going, and I would be rewarded. First, in the form of a unique champion sword. In the LOD era, before runewords like Grief and Death, Doombringer was a great addition to any melee arsenal. And so are these unique Vampire Bone gloves. With Life Leech, Life Tap, and Open Wounds, these are great boss killers. It's Dracul's Grasp. Continuing this physical damage trend, a unique Decapitator drops. And this time it's an ethereal. It's a Hellslayer. In a crowded corner of the tomb, a unique Legend Spike would drop. It's a pretty cool dagger, a Ghost Flame. With only 9 more hours until the 24-hour mark, I was finally feeling like I was picking up speed again. The loot tides were turning, and I had paid my dues, and I was ready for a strong finish to this experiment. In addition to that Atma Scarab, I also found a nice chest. The last find of hour 15 would be this pretty good small charm. It's life and cold resist. Hour 16, it happens again. The tomb becomes terrorized. Last Terror Song gave me chance cards, Medusa's Gaze, and a Gull Rune. What would this terrorized hour have in store for me? Well, I couldn't wait to find out. I'll be honest, I almost missed that Fury Visor. It's Wolfhowl. A pretty cool barbarian unique that has loads of variable rolls. This one is somewhat in the middle. We're now in hour 17. And this pack of mobs would give me a pretty rare item. It's a unique cap. Kudos to you if you know what this is. Both stylish and useful early on, it's Biggin's Bonnet. Still in hour 17, we're popping sarcophagi and we find green pair of bramble mitts. It's laying of hands. But hour 17 wasn't done. And I just love it when smart loot hits. Because these are a pair of rare Scissor Sui, a pair of rare claws. Natalia's Mark was the last piece for me to complete the full set. A great find. Talking about great finds, this next item is a part of that elusive Treasure Class 87 group of items. A good roll on the right stats can make this item incredibly valuable. It's the unique dimensional shard. That's Fathom. I think the only variable roll on this item is the cold skill damage, and unfortunately it goes up to 30, which makes this one decidedly not so great. It took me a moment to register that unique Battle Cestus drop. I want to blame it on this being the 21st hour out of my 24-hour experiment, but truth be told, I didn't complete this in one stab. I had to space it out over the course of a week. Anyways, this is Shadow Killer. And in the next run, I felt like the game was trying to tell me something. First, the Death's Fathom, and now a Grand Charm that I didn't even ID until I needed the space to pick up something else. It's a Cold Skiller. I have desperately tried to avoid making a Cold Sword. Not because I don't like them. Quite the opposite. I always play Cold Sword. It's either Frozen Orb or Blizzard. In single player, I wanted to branch out. It started with me choosing to go MF Barb over Sorceress and run Travancore 1000 times. I wanted to see if I could make it in the cruel, inhospitable world of Sanctuary without making a sorceress, but it's getting harder and harder to resist. To help me clarify my thoughts, the game sent me a fire skiller in the 23rd hour of this experiment. And this would be the last notable drop of my 24 hours in the Stony Tomb. When my 24 hours was up, I ran a victory lap, and these war travelers dropped. While I can't include these to the loot tally, the victory lap itself said a bunch of how fun it was to run the Stony Tombs on a Dragon Tail assassin. Attempting to summarize these runs makes me feel torn. On one hand, this character is strong and fun to play, and I did find a bunch of fun items and even a couple of TC-87s. In addition, my assassin leveled from 85 to 92, but I had much higher hopes in terms of runes. Speaking of, time to put that Vex rune to use. This is Flickering Flame. 3 to fire skills, reduced enemy fire resistance, as well as a resist fire aura to offset the Sunder charm, makes this a great addition to this build. I am now setting my sights on the Chaos Sanctuary, but will my assassin be strong enough? Slaying her way through the tomb was easy enough, but Diablo's home court is a different nut to crack, and I don't want to be buried in the Chaos Sanctuary. As a closing note, it's not a completely fair comparison, weighing 24 hours in the tomb against my other experiment, 1,000 Travancore runs as a berserker. To start, these tomb runs were all done on players 8, and you should know they took on average about 5.5 minutes to complete. In 24 hours, I managed to do 262 tomb runs. Even though the total loot isn't that impressive, I'm more than happy considering the amount of runs. So that's 24 hours in the Stony Tomb. A lot of runs, a long spell of nothingness, and a few hard hits of brain chemicals that made it all feel strangely worth it. The only real question now is, where does the next experiment take us? Is she strong enough for the Chaos Sanctuary, or should we take a road less traveled? I'm eager to know what you think. Leave a comment to let me know, and like the video if you found enjoyment or entertainment, and subscribe for more. Peace.